Hakion's eyes gleamed in the moonlight, his tall brown form silhouetted against the dense forest backdrop. He had never known a life beyond the pack, raised by wolves since he was a mere cub. The night air carried unfamiliar scents, stirring something deep within him he couldn't quite understand. Suddenly, a twig snapped nearby. Hakion's ears perked up, his senses on high alert. Through the foliage emerged a figure unlike any he'd ever encountered, a man with short purple hair and a curvy build. This was Olius, a traveler seeking solace in nature's embrace after a painful breakup. Olius froze, his eyes widening as he beheld the magnificent creature before him. Hakion stood on all fours, his wild beauty ethereal in the soft glow of the forest. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as their gazes locked. "Who are you?" Olius whispered, his voice barely audible above the gentle rustling of leaves. To his astonishment, the wolfman echoed his words. "Who are you?" Hakion's deep, rumbling voice sent shivers down Olius's spine. Olius couldn't help but chuckle, the sound bubbling up from somewhere deep inside him. It was the first time he'd laughed since Elarius had left him 7 days ago. Was this all just a vivid dream born from his heartache? Hakion, intrigued by this strange two-legged being, cautiously approached. He inhaled deeply, taking in Olius's scent. It was unlike anything in his world, a heady mixture of earth, sweat, and something uniquely human. Without warning, Hakion threw back his head and let out a soul-stirring howl that echoed through the trees. The sound awakened something primal in Olius. He felt drawn to this wild creature in a way he couldn't explain. As Hakion moved closer, Olius found himself reaching out, his hand trembling slightly as it hovered near Hakion's face. Their eyes met once more, and in that moment, both felt a connection that transcended words. Hakion nuzzled into Olius's palm, his rough tongue darting out to taste the salt on his skin. Olius gasped, a jolt of electricity coursing through his body at the contact. "What are you?" Olius murmured, his fingers now tangled in Hakion's thick mane. "How is this possible?" Hakion tilted his head, struggling to comprehend the strange sounds coming from Olius's mouth. But he understood the gentle touch, the warmth radiating from this peculiar being. It stirred feelings within him he'd never experienced before. As the night deepened, Olius found himself sitting by a small fire, Hakion curled up beside him. The wolfman's presence was oddly comforting, filling a void Olius hadn't realized existed until now. He began to speak softly, pouring out his heart to this silent companion who seemed to understand him on a level beyond words. "I came here to escape," Olius confessed, his voice barely above a whisper, "to forget about Elarius and the life we'd planned together. But now I'm not sure what I'm looking for anymore." Hakion listened intently, his ears twitching at the unfamiliar sounds. Though he couldn't understand the words, he sensed the pain and longing in Olius's voice. Instinctively, he pressed closer, offering what comfort he could. As dawn approached, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and gold, Olius realized he'd spent the entire night talking to Hakion. The wolfman had remained by his side, a steady presence that had somehow begun to heal the cracks in Olius's heart. "I should go," Olius said reluctantly, rising to his feet, "but I don't want to leave you." Hakion stood as well, his powerful form towering over Olius. There was a moment of hesitation, a silent communication passing between them. Then, to Olius's surprise, Hakion began to change. His fur receded, his form shifting until a man stood before him, tall, muscular, with eyes that held the wildness of the forest. Olius gasped, stumbling backward in shock. "Stay," Hakion said, his voice rough with disuse. It was the first human word he'd ever spoken, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken emotions. Olius felt his heart skip a beat. This was impossible, beyond anything he could have imagined. Yet here was Hakion, bridging the gap between their worlds with a single word. I don't understand," Olius stammered, his mind reeling. "How is this possible? Who are you, really?" Hakion took a step forward, his movements still carrying the grace of a predator. "I am me," he said slowly, struggling to form the words. "You, ... awaken something inside." Olius felt drawn to Hakion, unable to resist the pull between them. He reached out, his fingers tracing the contours of Hakion's face, marveling at the transformation. "This is crazy," he murmured. "I must be dreaming." But the warmth of Hakion's skin under his touch was undeniably real. The connection between them, forged in the depths of the forest night, hummed with an energy that defied explanation. "Not dream," Hakion insisted, his hand covering Olius's real, real. As the first rays of sunlight filtered through the trees, illuminating their intertwined forms, Olius made a decision that would change the course of both their lives. He couldn't return to his old world, not now that he'd glimpsed something so extraordinary. "I'll stay," he whispered, his heart racing with a mixture of fear and excitement. "Teach me your world, Hakion. Show me what it means to be truly free." Hakion's eyes lit up with understanding and joy. He took Olius's hand, gently tugging him towards the depths of the forest. Together, they ventured into the unknown, two souls from different worlds, united by a love that defied all logic and reason. As they disappeared into the misty morning, the forest seemed to come alive around them. Birds sang a melody of new beginnings, and the very trees seemed to whisper their approval. This was more than just a chance encounter. It was the start of an epic love story that would become legend in both the human and wolf worlds. Olius glanced back one last time at the life he was leaving behind. The pain of his past seemed to fade with each step he took alongside Hakion. He realized that sometimes love comes in the most unexpected forms, from the most unlikely places. And so began their adventure, a tale of two hearts finding home in each other's arms, bridging the gap between man and beast, civilization and wilderness. In the end, it wasn't about where they came from or what they were. It was about the love that had brought them together, a force powerful enough to transcend all boundaries. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, Olius felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that with Hakion by his side, he was exactly where he was meant to be. Their love story had only just begun, but already it promised to be one for the ages, a testament to the power of connection, understanding, and the magic that exists when two worlds collide.